Imagine this: a band of gladiators, tired from endless fights, yet still strong within. They are in chains, but their minds are free. They decide it's time to break free. Instead of waiting for chances, they create their own. Just think about being with them, feeling the excitement of the first steps to freedom. The air is heavy with anticipation. It must be a mix of fear and joy.
Now picture this scene. It's night. The moon lights their daring escape. Armed only with kitchen knives and large forks, they dodge Roman guards with every step. It sounds like a moment from a tale, but it's more. It's the start of something that no one expected. These are not just simple escapes. They are small sparks that will ignite a flame, one that will touch all of Rome in ways unknown. A great journey has just begun.
So, let's dive into this part of the story where we learn more about Spartacus himself. Spartacus was actually from Thrace, a region that was full of strong warriors. Yet somehow he ended up a prisoner under a man named Lentulus Batiates. This guy owned a gladiator school in Capua, and he was not known for being kind. It's here that Spartacus first faced the harsh life of a gladiator.
Yeah, life in the gladiator school was really tough. The owner, Batiates, was quite mean. He treated them horribly. You can imagine how hard it must have been for Spartacus and the others. But they didn't just suffer quietly. They came up with a plan to escape. Sadly, someone betrayed them. Still, they didn't give up easily. Their strong will pushed them to try something daring.
Despite the betrayal, the escape didn't stop. About 70 gladiators, including Spartacus, gathered their courage and made a break for it. They were smart and used whatever they could grab, like knives from the kitchen. This shows how determined they were. Soon they managed to get their hands on real weapons from the guards. It was quick thinking and bravery that helped them at that moment.
Their breakout marked a crucial moment. Spartacus showed great leadership, teaming up with Crassus and Oenomaus. Together, they dealt with the immediate danger by fighting back Batiates' men. This victory was important because it wasn't just about escaping. They started attacking the nearby areas, gathering supplies and gaining more followers. They quickly turned from escaped slaves into a growing force to be reckoned with.
After the daring escape, Spartacus and his followers moved to a strong position on Mount Vesuvius. They set up camp there, using the height for safety. It was not just for resting, but a smart move. From there, they could see any force coming to get them. The Roman Senate, however, saw this as a simple problem. They thought they could easily handle these rebels without much trouble.
Yes, the Senate didn't take them seriously at first. They sent a man named Gaius Claudius Glaber with a small group of militia, not real soldiers. Glaber thought he could trap Spartacus on the mountain by blocking the only road. Glaber planned to wait it out, hoping Spartacus would surrender. But Spartacus and his group were clever. They used the trees and vines on the mountainside to make ropes. During the night, they climbed down quietly like shadows.
This clever escape surprised everyone. Then, Spartacus turned the tables. He led his group right around Glaber's camp, catching them by surprise. The Roman forces were in panic, and because of this surprise attack, Spartacus easily defeated them. More people, impressed by his tactics and courage, joined him. His group, once small, started becoming bigger and stronger, turning into a real army.
Spartacus didn't just win battles, he built a reputation. The spoils they took from battles were shared equally. This was rare and made people trust him more. His leadership made them feel valued and part of a community, not just an army. They weren't just rebels anymore. They were becoming a force to be noticed. This moment marked a big change. Spartacus was emerging as a powerful leader with real influence.
As we move further into the story, Spartacus found his force gaining strength. They began raiding towns in southern Italy. This created a lot of trouble for the Romans. It was not easy for them to control Spartacus and his growing army. Spartacus was really smart about picking his targets. His soldiers were skilled and brave, and their numbers grew as more slaves joined them. Their raids became a real problem for the nearby towns.
Spartacus had to face Praetor Verinius and his divided army. Verinius made a mistake by splitting his forces between two men, Furius and Cassinius. Spartacus took advantage of this. First, he went after Furius and quickly defeated him. Then, he caught Cassinius by surprise at a river. Spartacus did not let the chance slip and attacked. Most of Cassinius's men were defeated. Verinius had to run to save himself, leaving Spartacus victorious.
With these victories, Spartacus's army grew to nearly 70,000. The win over Verinius's forces gave them more captured weapons. This made them even stronger and better armed against future Roman attacks. Spartacus showed excellent leadership, arranging his troops effectively. His strategies kept the Romans on edge, and they never knew what to expect next. It was clear that he was not just about random attacks. He really knew what he was doing.
Even with the success, Spartacus faced losses too. Oenomaus, one of his trusted lieutenants, died during one of their raids. This was a tough moment for Spartacus and his followers. However, it made them stand together even more. The followers admired Spartacus for his victories and respected him for sharing the spoils equally. Their bond kept getting stronger, which was important for maintaining their large group as they continued their fight.
After all these early wins, Roman leaders became really worried about the growing threat of Spartacus. The Senate made a strong move by sending powerful armies led by consuls Lucius Gellius Publicola and Gnaeus Lentulus Clodianus to stop him. They had a lot more soldiers, about 20,000 each, showing how serious the Romans were now. Spartacus was a brilliant leader, but facing these large trained armies was going to be tough.
Indeed, but Spartacus had his own challenges, especially with Crassus, his key supporter. Crassus wanted to stay in the south, raid more, and gather new followers. Spartacus, on the other hand, aimed to move north for potential freedom. This split was a problem. Crassus and his group, around 30,000, got separated from Spartacus. Sadly, this gave the Romans a chance. Publicola caught up to Crassus, and in a tough battle, Crassus was defeated near Mount Garganus.
While Crassus faced his defeat, Spartacus continued to push north, but he was in a dangerous spot. Consul Clodianus was blocking his path, and Publicola was chasing him from behind. It was clear that Spartacus could get trapped between these two strong armies. So he knew he had to act smartly. He decided to take on Clodianus first. Despite the danger, Spartacus believed in his men and their strength.
Clodianus underestimated Spartacus, thinking his numbers were small after Crassus's defeat. But Spartacus was ready with many fighters by his side. Clodianus decided to engage without waiting for Publicola's help. The battle turned into a great win for Spartacus, who used his smart tactics and courage to overcome Clodianus's forces. With energy and excitement from this victory, Spartacus quickly turned to face Publicola before he could prepare properly.
And yet again, Spartacus showed his remarkable skill. He attacked Publicola and defeated him too. These wins were huge successes, forcing the Roman consuls to retreat back to Rome to regroup. Spartacus had managed what seemed impossible, defeating 2 full consular armies. This attracted even more people to his cause, swelling his numbers further. Word spread fast about Spartacus's skills and leadership, making him not just a rebel, but a true symbol of resistance.
Yes, even though Spartacus thought about moving on Rome, he knew that was too risky. His army was large, but they couldn't take on the city's strong defenses. So he turned south instead. With his forces, he raided lands again, swapped plunder for more weapons, preparing for any future battles. This not only strengthened his army, but also kept them ready for whatever the Romans might try next. Spartacus stayed a step ahead always.
After defeating the consular armies, Spartacus and his men had to decide their next move. Some thought they should march on Rome, considering their recent successes. But Spartacus decided against this idea. He knew that Rome was a strong city with great defenses. Instead, he thought it was wiser to move south. Doing so would give them more time to prepare and stay out of danger from any new Roman plans.
While moving south, Spartacus focused on raiding the land. Each raid allowed his forces to gather more supplies, food, and, importantly, weapons. These raids also gave them a chance to train their troops further and keep them ready for the battles that might come. Winter was approaching, so Spartacus made sure his men were well prepared. They needed to be ready for any challenge the Roman forces might bring.
Spartacus also used the time wisely to trade with merchants. They exchanged the goods they captured for better weapons and armor. This trade made Spartacus's army stronger and more well-equipped than before. His strategy was to get as many weapons as possible to protect his growing force. This way, his army wouldn't only rely on numbers, they would also have the equipment and skills needed to fight effectively.
As Spartacus's reputation grew, so did the fear among his enemies. The Roman elite began to see him not just as a leader of a revolt, but as a major threat. This recognition caused more people to understand the impact he had. Spartacus became a symbol of strength and cunning. His ability to keep winning battles against trained Roman armies showed his skill. It also inspired many to join him, swelling his ranks further.
As we continue our story, let's talk about Marcus Licinius Crassus and his rise to command against Spartacus. Crassus was already one of the wealthiest men in Rome, but he wanted more. He saw an opportunity in leading the war against Spartacus. His political ambitions pushed him to take on this challenge, hoping for a great military victory to boost his career. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to make a name for himself.
Crassus wasn't new to war. He had fought well under Sulla during the Civil War. This experience gave him the confidence to volunteer himself for the role of praetor, specifically to fight Spartacus. He didn't just rely on Rome for support. Crassus used his own wealth to fund the war effort, which showed how serious he was. By investing his own resources, he aimed to reform the Roman legions and change their approach in defeating Spartacus.
One of Crassus's first tasks was to bring back discipline to the defeated Roman armies. He noticed that Spartacus had become a figure of fear, and his soldiers were scared. He decided to change this by making them fear him more than Spartacus. Crassus used harsh methods, including the practice of decimation, to ensure order. In decimation, every 10th soldier in a group would be executed. This was a tough choice, but it restored discipline and fear of punishment.
With discipline restored, Crassus started planning for battle. He studied Spartacus's tactics, knowing Spartacus was clever and strong. Crassus needed a new strategy to face him. He carefully gathered his forces, looking for weaknesses in Spartacus's plans. By preparing his soldiers and finding the right time to strike, Crassus believed he could win. This was not just another battle. It was about showing his skill and proving that Rome could still stand strong against any threat.
As we close this chapter on Spartacus, let's remember the remarkable battles he fought. From escaping as a gladiator to leading thousands against Rome, Spartacus showed exceptional courage and leadership. His victories were not just military. They challenged Roman society and made people think about freedom and control. The uprising did not only change lives then, but left a lasting impact on future generations, inspiring those who wish for freedom.
And while we discussed Spartacus's battles, let's not forget the role Crassus played, leading his own path to power. What happens next shapes not only his story, but also the fate of Rome, and we'll cover that in future talks. Before we go, we want you to think about Spartacus's legacy and what it means today. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like our show and subscribe for more cool history insights. Your support means a lot to us.